Welcome to another episode of Successful Marketing, Sales, and Relationships for Adult Small Business Owners and Entrepreneurs, where we help you sell what you make. I am your host, best-selling author SaDon Long, and we are 57 days away from Christmas. That's right, 57 days away. And this is the time of year where people start getting kiosks, start opening up brick-and-mortar spaces, and I just wanted to get in here really quick and tell you at least 5 things that you need to consider before you sign on a dotted line. So let's get right to it. Number 1, the first thing you need to consider, especially if you are going to do a brick and mortar location, how much money do you need to make? What do I mean? I mean, how much money do I need to make each and every day in order to cover the rent? If I have to pay for heating and gas, to cover the heating and gas. If I have to pay for water, to cover the water. If I have phones, how much do I need to make to cover all of those bills each and every day? Now, if it's $3,000 for the month, then you break it down and you say, okay, well, I need to do at least $400 a day. Okay, just to cover that. The second thing is, how much money do I need to pay my employees, and how much money do they need to be bringing in order to pay themselves? Not for you to pay them, but for them to pay themselves. So if they make $20 an hour, then they need to be selling $60 an hour. I go back to when I first got into retail and I told my DM at the time that I needed a raise. He told me just sell 1 t-shirt more an hour and you'll give yourself a raise. Because at that time I worked on, partially commission. So the idea that I sold more means that I made more. So first 2 things you need to know is, how much do I need to make to cover all my outgoing bills, that, rent, heat, light, gas, water, all those kinds of things. Second thing, how much do each of my employees need to be selling in order to pay themselves? Because they shouldn't be there standing around leaning and not cleaning, running their mouths on their phones. They should be actively moving your business forward. So those are the first 2 things. Now, the third thing, if you're going to get a brick and mortar space, you really need to pay attention to is where your customer is going to come from. Okay. So I know we like to talk about traffic and people walking by and, how many people come up and down the street and all those things. But just because somebody's on the street doesn't mean they're coming into your business. Matter of fact, it doesn't even really guarantee that they even saw your business. So the question now becomes, where are my customers going to come from? Okay. So that means before you move into your brick and mortar location, you already need to have a list. A list of people that you know that you could reach out to, that you can invite into your business. And that you could almost guarantee these sales. Again, because now you're on the hook for a second mortgage payment every month, or, second mortgage payment. We'll call it that. You're on the hook for a second, gas payment now. So you need to almost have a guaranteed amount of people before you open the doors that are ready to do business with you. So if you don't have 10, 15, 20, 30 people already locked in, hey girl, we're about to have a grand opening. I just want to make sure that you get a part of it before it gets, really busy. We got some stuff set aside for you. I just need you to confirm your VIP date. That's what you need to be doing before you open. Soft opening, VIP, special member only, so that you know these are sales that I already have. Part B of the third thing that you need to do is you need to set up a referral program for your VIPs and offer them an incentive to bring you more people. Well, what do I mean when I say offer an incentive? I mean, for everybody that wants a discount, they need to bring you a customer. For everybody that wants to hold something, put something on layaway, do a payment plan, they need to be bringing you another customer. Okay. So when you get into that negotiation over price and payment, one of the things that you need to be negotiating for is additional customers. Why do you need to be negotiating for additional customers? Because additional customers that you didn't have to go get means that your business is growing without you doing anything. And the same thing goes for each and every employee you have. Your employees need to know that we don't offer 10% off without a referral. Okay. You want the 10% off? Hey, I need a referral. Does trading discounts for referrals sound aggressive? It absolutely does. But you now are locked in to an additional payment each and every month. And if you're not aggressive, explain to me how you're going to meet your goals. You know, especially if you're forced to heat the place. Now, if you're not paying heat, maybe that gives you a slight bit of wiggle room. But if you're forced to pay the heat, you don't know where the weather's going to be 3 or 4 months from now. You may end up with a heating bill that's more than your rent. So if you're going to trade something for a discount, make sure that it is a referral. Next thing, question becomes, number 4, you need to know if you're going to get into a brick and mortar location. Okay. You need to know that you have good salespeople who know how to upsell. Now notice we're talking primarily about sales and referrals. Now, upselling is extremely important because now that means that you're getting more per sale. So if there's a slow day, if there's a blizzard, if there's rain, if there's sleet, if there's light, ice, at least you've done everything you could to make the most out of the sales that you got. So now when somebody comes in the store, you wanted to ask them, is 2 or 3 enough? You know, the rule needs to be with every person in that store, including yourself, including your children, including your auntie. We don't just sell one item. Now, again, this might be a little bit more aggressive than, especially some of my female watchers are, some of my female entrepreneurs have been used to being. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to end up at the end of this season in more debt than you started. How is this a good outcome for you if you end up owing more money? If you end up with inventory you couldn't sell, and now you have to undersell and over discount to get rid of it, which means that you make even less money. If you have something people really want, don't be afraid to sell it to them. And that's what you need to be telling each and every person that stands behind that counter, each and every person that's on that floor when they walk through the door, that 1 is never enough. What's better than 1 shea butter? 2. What's better than 2? 4. So how do you sell 4? Well, one of the things that I did when I was a department head and a sales trainer is I used you need 1 for the house, 1 for work, 1 for the car method. Well, what do I mean when I say 1 for the house, 1 for the work, and 1 for the car? I mean that you go to work, you wash your hands, and now your hands are dry. More than likely, the lotion that you had at home, or the shea butter that you had at home, or whatever you had at home, is still at home. More than likely, the hairbrush that you had at home is still at home. More than likely, the shoe shine that you had at home is still at home. But if you're in any type of position where you need to look good as part of, how you interact with your employees and how you interact with customers each and every day, office building, retail, education, then you need to have shoe shine at work. You need to have lotion at work. You need to have a manicure kit at work. What happens if you chip a nail, break a nail? You need it at work. So you need at least those 2, 1 at home, 1 at work. A nice little bag that you can go into with a toothbrush, toothpaste, lotion, some stain removal, all of those things that you would normally put in a travel kit. So it's not crazy to say it because guess what? That's what travel kits have. So same thing applies to your customer base. So if you sell shea butter, you need to be using the 1 at home, 1 at work, 1 in the car. And I know you say, well, why would I need 1 in the car? Because if you're out and you wash your hands, you want to go in there with dry hands. Same thing as a travel kit. So now you go, you wash your hands, you pull your little travel kit out, you re-lotion your face, you re-lotion your hands, you hit yourself with another little spritz of cologne or perfume. So even if you're selling perfume or oils or things like that, same thing applies. At home, in the car, and at work. So now when you walk out into the happy hour, now when you walk out, into the little dinner that you got with your boo, you fresh and oiled and glistening and shining and moisturized. You do the same thing applies to hand sanitizer, right? So anything that a hand sanitizer or a travel kit would have, you need to be selling the same way, that you need more than one. Now, the fifth thing, if you're thinking about getting a brick and mortar location, is there a better way? Is there a better way than having a brick and mortar location? Because I know a lot of times what ends up happening is that your family members, your homegirls, your people try to minimize your business because it's not in an office building, because it's not inside a mall, because it's not inside a strip mall. But here's the thing. They don't got to pay the rent. So what they think is irrelevant. And if they're not bringing you any customers, and they're not upselling your products, and they're not making sure that you're successful, their opinion don't matter no way. Matter of fact, you might need to stop talking to them. That's just my opinion. So is there a better way? Could I do the same thing with a pop-up? Could I do the same thing online? Could I do the same thing from my house? It'd be cool if you got a kiosk. It'd be cool if you got some office space. It'd be cool if you got a brick and mortar location. But is whatever you're doing something that you could do from your home? If we, gussied up the basement a little bit, could we now invite customers in to get their taxes done at home? It would be cheaper to go to a secondhand store, secondhand office store, and get a desk and some chairs. Move your laptop out of your bedroom downstairs and do people's house taxes at your house. Can we put together a nice little room downstairs where people can come in and get fitted for these dresses? Can we create a website, a Facebook page? Tell people, hey, just click the link. It gets directly to me and I'll ship it directly to your house. Matter of fact, depending on where you are, I'll deliver it to you. I remember when we dropped The Big Picture, Dwayne would actually drop books off at people's house. Now, if one of the richest men in the country would offer you the opportunity to get the book directly from him, delivered by him, why would somebody who's not making that kind of money not have the same amount of time? See, this is about priorities. And if the priority is to grow your business and the priority is to make sure your family in the best position possible this holiday season, you're going to have to stretch. You're going to have to move in a different direction other than comfortable. Now, does that mean uncomfortable? I don't know. Does that mean unfamiliar? I don't know. But it's definitely not going to be comfortable. So again, the question becomes, before you get a brick and mortar, is this the best thing for me to do? Hell, is there somebody who already has a brick and mortar that wants to give me a little real estate? And we can tag team. Maybe they got a boutique, I put my butters in it. Maybe they sell suits and I sell oils, and I put my little oils in there and they give me a little space. Now, even when you do that, you still have to be showing up. Even when you do that, you still have to be promoting and advertising. You cannot then put your stuff in somebody's store and expect them to sell your stuff. You still have to be promoting and advertising and cross-promoting with them. As a matter of fact, you need to be showing up at that store every day, at least for a couple hours, and going live and saying, hey, man, I'm down here. Let them know where you are. And that does two things. Number one, it promotes your brand. But number two, it also promotes the person who owns the brick and mortar brand as well. Now, the reason that's good is because you need them to let you stay there. And you don't want them jealous of you if you're selling more stuff than they are. So you have to play the psychological game with the other person and say, hey, man, I'm promoting you just like I'm promoting me. So if people are coming in buying your stuff and they're not buying as much of their stuff, they can't be mad because, hey, you at least got them some traffic. But you're competing for attention. You're competing for time. You're competing for customers. So you're going to have to be able to make good decisions on the fly. And it's hard to make a good decision on the fly when you're locked into a lease. So if you figure out that there's no other way to do it, then make sure you do the first 4 things. And I'm going to repeat all of the above. Number 1, you got to know your numbers, man. What do I need to actually turn a profit here? How much do I need to be making each and every day? That is extremely important. You got to have that part. Number 2, what do my people need to be selling in order to pay themselves, pay me, and help me reach a profit? So if they need to be doing $60 because they make $20, then you need to be making sure each and every day that everybody knows that this is extremely important. Number 2, you need to be making sure that you're monitoring your floor. Number 3, I'm sorry. You need to make sure you're monitoring the floor and making sure that one is never enough. That upselling is of the utmost importance. That if they come in for 1, you sell them 3. And I always recommend to use 1 at home, 1 in the car, 1 at work method. It's worked for me a lot. Gave me a huge advantage against other retailers. And I was pretty successful. I won a lot of awards and things of that nature. So it works. And then the other thing is when you start trading discount. Okay. When you start trading discounts, you trade discounts for referrals. You don't trade discounts for sales. I'll give you the discount, but I need a referral. Why? Because if you have referrals coming in, other customers that you didn't have to spend any money, spend any time chasing down to get them to come through the door. So now you have a self-growing business because people keep coming in because other people are bringing them in. People that you're not paying. People who are not on the payroll have bringing you customers. So now if your people are selling and your customers are selling for you, now you have a much better chance of reaching what you need to reach in order to turn a profit. Because I'm pretty sure that your main objective is not to end up with a whole bunch of merchandise that you have to over discount in order to get rid of it. That you don't want to have a whole bunch of inventory that nobody wants because the season is over with. That you don't want to end up in a hole and be taking money out of your 401k to cover the rent. And then number 5, man, is there any alternative, any other way other than a brick and mortar that can make the same amount of money? Up to and including partnering with somebody who already has a brick and mortar. And they would surely appreciate giving you a little bit of their space for a little bit of money. Because that would help them reach their goals. Now, if you have any questions whatsoever about how any of this works, make sure you go to growingrich.com. Click the Fast Cash button. They're going to send me an email. I'm going to see an email back. And then we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about it for at least 30 minutes. We're going to talk about your plans. We're going to talk about your goals. We're going to talk about what's working, what's not working, and what opportunities I see that are available to you that could help you reach your goal. Because again, man, this is successful marketing and sales and relationships for small business owners, adult small business owners, folks that got mamas, daughters, spouses, bills, student loans. This for y'all. Because you're talented. You just need a little help. And I want to give you that help. Especially if you're somebody who's self-employed and you have no employees. Because those are the people who are most at risk this time of year. Because you're trying to do everything yourself. So rather than do it by yourself, how about partnering with me? Again, go over to growingrich.com. As always, man, this has been your big bro. SaDon Long, aka the most dangerous man in the market, aka Mr. Better Than Your 401k. Telling you I love you, and do not forget it's 57 days to Christmas. So if you haven't gotten started, here's your chance to get started. And if you need help getting started, go to growingrich.com and you'll get a free 30 with me if you click the fast cash button. As always, I love you. I'm out.